Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Furu Finance. We have a great stream for you guys today. Great stream, great price action, and that is really the news. So, just happy to be here. It's been a long time since we've had something like this, and things are really positive. So, just happy to be here with you guys and share this experience and hopefully, and I believe that this is going to be perhaps the start of a new chapter, a very exciting chapter, not one where we sort of have to hang in there and just endure bad news and price action. Perhaps now going forward, we could look back at, some positive price action, some good profits, all those kinds of things. But we're going to go through the charts. We're going to go through maybe the numbers, and also we'll talk about the title, which is that HEX it's erasing the SEC losses. We all were there when the price took a nosedive from like 2 cents to under a penny, and we're getting very close to 2 cents. I really like the rally to it. It seems like a very healthy rally. Bitcoin is rallying as well. It's at $34,000, and people are talking about hitting over 40,000. I was watching a little bit of Ivan today. He was talking about Bitcoin having a $48,000 target and stuff like that. Richard's been active on Twitter. Things are really going nicely, and congratulations to everyone that's been around. So guys, just remember to hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, all the good stuff. But what's going on in the chats? In the chat, Bob Stutz, good morning. Morning, Bob. Bob is a patron. Big shout out to Bob. Kid is always late. Who are you, Corey's brother or something? Mike Go is a patron. What's going on? Good morning. Yellowtail, what's going on? Chad Donnerschwans, good to see you, Chad. Chris A, what's up? Yeah, guys, let's just get into the charts. We got the HEX price. This is incredible. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 days in a row, 9 daily green candles in a row. And each one seems to be getting bigger and bigger, which is really nice to see. It's also outperforming all the other rallies. So maybe a little bit more than a relief rally. Like this one was 4 in a row, not nearly as big, not nearly as long. I think this was the one where we had like Crypto Stylist on, and she was saying how happy she was to just finally get some sort of relief. Then obviously there were 2 here. It's been a long consolidation, and finally it seems like we're breaking out of it. And we're breaking out of it despite the interest rates being high, despite the SEC FUD and all those kinds of things. If you look at crypto bubbles, it seems like every day HEX and PulseX have been the biggest gainers. That is a very good sign, because generally what I've seen, and that's sort of how the way that it has to be, is that when Bitcoin pumps, the altcoins obviously pump, but the altcoins that pump the most when Bitcoin pumps usually are bound to have the biggest returns. Now, you could also argue that it's sort of just reflexive at this point, since HEX has been dumping one of the most. I don't know if it's the most, but since HEX has been dumping so much for so long and so much FUD, by the time Bitcoin breaks out, there'll be some sort of reflexivity, and it'll go up a lot more. So that will be what makes me a little bit cautious, whether or not HEX will be the biggest gainer every time Bitcoin pumps, but let's see if this could sustain itself. This is definitely a very good sign. Also, obviously, it's not based off news, and this is with Richard Hart being like not as actively engaged. He hasn't streamed for like a year or something. He hasn't been on camera in a very long time. The little message in front before the highest of stakes thing. So this is really good. This is really good, and I think the next date to watch is really November 28th. Let's see what happens then. Let's see if this goes to trial and stuff like that. But I think when he gets more active, more hands-on, things are really going to develop positively. So yeah, we'll get maybe a little bit deeper into that. But anybody that's been accumulating should just be enjoying themselves. I don't think now is really the time to empty the truck. And if you're FOMOing in now, that probably means you haven't been accumulating at these levels. But if you've been accumulating at these levels, I think it's important to stick to the plan. I think it's important to continue dollar cost averaging, in my opinion. Never financial advice, but just to stick to the dollar cost average. You want to, this is the long game. I think we have another couple months before things start to really heat up. Okay. So that's really good. And that's really all I need to hear and see. But obviously PLS is at 4069. It's got about a 50% pump until it breaks even from SAC rate. And anybody that's gotten the whale bonus multiplier is already enjoying some profits. And people that have been accumulating have been enjoying some profits. So it's really good. And PulseX, talk about the reflexivity. I think it pumped the most in this recent thing. Actually, let's take a look at which one pumped the most. Draw it from here. 111%. PLS. 88%. And HEX. HEX has pumped the most, actually. It's good. That's the one I've been accumulating the most, 179%. Wow. Pretty incredible. This could be a Bitcoin situation where HEX could be like Bitcoin, where it's dominant, pumps the most, and then once the altcoin season comes in, once the real bull market kicks off, maybe you could be seeing Pulse and PulseX run up against it. That would be interesting to look at. But right now, HEX is the biggest gainer. And I'm proud to say that I've been accumulating HEX the most. So that's really cool. Very happy about that. Been accumulating some PLS, and I didn't sell any of my PLSX. Maybe I should have bought a little bit more. It is what it is, but I did not sell. I know a lot of people have given up hope on PLSX, and I think that's a mistake. I think PLSX is going to do very good things. I like what Randy Hilarski said, that it could pump more at the tail end. After HEX and Pulse do its thing, people are going to be looking for the next thing. Like, people are going to be looking, they're going to feel like they missed out, and then they're going to be like, okay, PulseX didn't pump as much. It's got the Pulse. It's Richard Hart. Let's get in here. Maybe we could see a rip at the tail end against HEX and PLS. But yeah, that's really what's been going on. That's what's been going on. What are you guys saying in the chat? Stefan says like and share right now. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Big shout out to Stefan. He changed from red to green. I guess the avatar is supposed to represent the market. Giovanni Lopez, what's up? Jeremy Shepard, what's going on? From the low 0.055 at the end of August to previous all-time highs, pretty much 100x. Yeah, it's true. That is true. What's going on, Ash? I am well. I hope you're well. Metastang is a patron. What's going on? Ash also says Hex is the GOAT. Yeah, I think Hex is it. Hex is I think from beginning of bull market to the top, I think probably biggest ROI is going to be Hex. But we'll see. That's why I got all three of them. All right, let's take a look at Hex daily stats. Hex on Pulse Chain. Oh, wow. Change in current miners. Lost 80. That's not good. But obviously overall, that's about erasing 4 days of gains. But obviously adding double digits pretty much every day. And the change in current holders has went up 93. So it's almost 100 2 days in a row. Past 2 days has been averaging 100 new 100 new holders. So it's really onboarding. That's really good. So I know people say that, oh yeah, it's just money within the system, but that's not true. Because you look here, it's 223 5 days ago. Might not all be new people, but a significant percentage of that has to be new people. I'd be saying probably over 50% in my estimation. New people are coming in. And the proof of that also is that it's being covered by regular crypto channels. And when regular crypto channels are covering it, a lot of their audience, wants to get in. EHEX actually added 12, surprisingly. Added 149 current holders. Pretty significant. But yeah, that's really another thing. Like, onboarding is happening. That's really good. Onboarding is happening. I posted today Ivan talking about it on the show this morning, which I watched. It was a great show, and that's onboarding. That's outbound messaging. Martini guy tweeted about it. So when there's outbound messaging, there's inbound. There's onboarding. There's onboarding happening. No doubt about it. So I expect more of that to happen. And this is also happening. You're getting like 100 new wallets over the past 2 days, 100 each day. You're getting that despite the delisting by OKX. So I was thinking to myself this morning, like, centralized exchange listings, they're important and they're good, but getting listed on a centralized exchange is not what it was even in this past bull market, let alone in like 2018 when there were no DEXs. It's not as important. Remember that there's significant trading volume going on DEXs, and there's significant price action going on DEXs. All the best returns really happen before things hit the centralized exchanges. So despite no centralized exchanges, there have been significant returns, and that could continue to happen. And as the returns happen, as the community grows, as more people want exposure, once the demand is really sort of ramped up, it's going to lead to inevitably getting listed on centralized exchanges. These things just happen. But we're not there yet, and it's not as necessary as people think it is, as displayed by the price action over the past couple days, and as displayed by the 10,000x in under 2 years. That was all pretty much decentralized exchanges. In fact, it did better when it wasn't listed on OKX. But there are other factors to be taken into consideration. So that's some really, really good news. Also, this was something that was brought to my attention by Axis Alive. We go to gopulse.com. HEX is up 43.3% over the past 24 hours. INC is at $1.44. Shout out to Brizology and the INC gain. I know Somi likes it. A lot of people like it, but obviously I'm not such an INC guy. But yeah, if you look at the bridge, almost 100 million TVL bridged in, and 18 million, almost 19 million is from EHEX, but the majority of it is stable coins, which is money. I mean, that's cash. That's not such liquid crypto. It's cash. And then ETH is very liquid. 14 million bridged in. That's crazy. So 62% of it is in stable coins bridged in. So it's on the chain. I'm sure a lot of people that are very heavily involved in crypto are looking at this very, very closely, and they're probably getting interested in maybe getting some exposure. It's on Dex Screener. It's on, the prices are listed also on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, albeit not really listed so properly, but it's there for everyone to see, and people are really getting involved. I like seeing it. I'm very excited. Yeah. And obviously I know Richard's been he's been excited too. He's never left. He's checking the price probably at least once an hour, probably every minute. Yeah, he's urging for a message of unity. Not that there was any real infighting between Hexicans, Pulsicans, and Pulsexicans. It's pretty much all the same people. Everyone that has one has the other, except maybe PulseX. So maybe PulseX could have the biggest upside based on that, but who knows? But yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, that's really good. And yeah, and another thing to notice is if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, Bitcoin is gaining dominance against the altcoins. Why does this matter? Well, this is what you want to see going into a bull market. That's what's always happened. The Bitcoin dominance runs up, and then the Bitcoin dominance breaks. Let's go to monthly so we could get a better picture. Yeah. Like this here, when it broke down, that was the alt season. And then Bitcoin dominance consolidated. It's going back up. It's going back up. The Bitcoin price is flying. It's bottomed according to the cycle. I think it's going to top somewhere around the cycle. Maybe not exactly a year. Maybe a little earlier, maybe a little bit later. That's not something that's really even on my mind now. But the point is, it's all really going according to the plan. It's all going according to the plan. Bitcoin dominance goes up. Bitcoin price goes up. Altcoins start showing some signs of life. And then obviously the altcoins go crazy. And we're just in this euphoria. So it's important to remember, stick to the plan. Time is on our side. Keep increasing your productivity so you could maybe invest more and just enjoy. I think probably this Friday I'm going to buy regardless of the price, because you have to stick to your game plan. If you were in Hex and Pulse and PulseX and then you saw the meme coins, that's what you were committed to, and then you saw the meme coins flying and you sold out of it, you're not in good shape. And same respect, if you want to be in meme coins, you sort of got to stick to it. If you think that they're going to be successful, but whatever it is, you can't go in and out. You just have to pick, and you have to accumulate, and you have to take profits eventually. But you have to accumulate. You have to have a long time horizon. And irrespective of the price, I've been accumulating, and it's been paying off lately. So that's what's really going to be. That's what's really in store. But this is really good. It's nice to see something happening. And obviously, the title is Erasing the SEC Losses. We'll get into that in a second, but just check out the chat. Tommy Kane's got all 4. Nice. This is just for the IRS one, not the SEC one. Get to work. Yeah, guys, get to work. Start sending in your comments to the SEC. Just check out Richard Hart's Twitter for that. But yeah, listen to him. He knows what he's doing, right? What's up, Metopian? Good times. Hope you're all well. Shout out to Furu. Thank you. What's up, Franklin? Armando Corral says, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Yeah, don't let anyone tell you that you didn't earn it. But yeah, HEX is erasing the SEC losses. That was the main thing that I wanted to talk about. And that's really cool. It was at 2 cents before the SEC news dropped and the price took a nosedive, and it's consolidated in a very healthy looking way, and it looks like it's getting a leg up. And this is a very healthy leg up. This is not like a quick one because there's some news, and then sort of everyone just sells out because they're still in that despair and stuff like that. It was a long consolidation, and it went up with with Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of the crypto market, and it went up more. That's really good. There's showing some independence of Richard Hart. People really priced in Richard Hart not being around as actively, meaning people already, like, that's not even something that people are complaining about. There's this understanding that there's an ongoing lawsuit, and he can't be as active as he was, and he has to be very careful about what he says and does. So there's sort of the understanding about that. And despite that, a lot of money's coming in. A lot of new people are being onboarded. And a lot of people are talking about it. It's freaking awesome. We're like a 20% pump away from 2 cents, like pre-SEC levels. So that means that if Richard Hart not streaming, if that's not hurting the price anymore, there's only changes really to the upside, meaning what could happen now, potential scenarios, is he just doesn't stream for another couple months or whatever. And then, that doesn't really do anything because that's already priced in. But what could also happen is he could get more actively involved, especially in a month from now. Maybe, we'll see. And that could really shoot the price up. Same thing as with interest rates. Like, people talk about the interest rates being high, but we're at the tail end of the hikes. People are talking maybe another 25% rate hike, maybe. But what's the market going to be pricing in going forward? Probably not raising rates, and potentially the inevitable lowering of rates. So I feel like once the rates are lowered, it's already going to be priced in, and this is really the time where the rates being lowered is priced in, as displayed by the S&P 500. It's up like 15-20% on the year. With the high rates, the S&P 500, if you invested in it, in the beginning of the year, you're doing pretty well. So probably same thing maybe applies for crypto. I think we're on the tail end of inflation. We're on the tail end of rate hikes. What's priced in going forward is Richard Hart probably being more actively engaged, or the same, and the economy getting more bullish. Really good stuff. On top of that, you don't have to worry about people with insider allocations and companies dumping. So that's another huge edge that this ecosystem has. It's organic. Everyone that got involved paid for it. That's a big problem with crypto. sort of just using everyone as exit liquidity. I mean, that's non-existent. So yeah, that's really the rundown. This is really exciting. This is really good. You guys should be feeling very good about yourself. And I've noticed for the first time in a long time, I've been maybe actively checking the charts a little more. I wish I wasn't, but just is what it is. But yeah, erasing SEC losses over the next couple months. You know, people forget that there's decent run-ups before things get euphoric and newsworthy. So like you could be sitting at 7-8 cents in a couple months from now. People might not be talking about it like crazy because it's still down 90% from the all-time high, whatever. But everyone that's been accumulating is in a lot of profits, and that sort of promotes more engagement, more marketing, which promotes more onboarding and more price action. So that's awesome. That's really good. Oh yeah, and Metasting mentioned the BlackRock ETF already has a ticker. That's the word on X. Yeah, that's really going to be the story of probably this bull market is the ETFs and traditional finance really getting very actively engaged in probably Bitcoin and Ethereum. HEX will be the next bull market story. Maybe, but who knows? Things move fast, okay? Things move fast, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's been a very bullish catalyst. Let's take a look at like the halving tracker. It's a cool thing that I look at. Should have prepared it. This is last one is from 11 hours ago. Yeah. This is where we are. Obviously, the halving is here at the very end, and then it's going to start a new chart. But we're about 5 months away from it, 4 to 5 months. And the gains, the returns obviously diminish in Bitcoin, but like the structure is the same. Goes up after the halving, you know, then goes down, consolidates, right? Consolidated there. Sort of this would be the consolidation. And sort of at the end, it starts to climb a little bit. Maybe it climbs up to here, falls more, and then things start to get crazy. So it's going according to the plan. Every single cycle, the returns diminish, but the pattern is more or less intact. That right there. This was obviously a double top, so it was a little bit different. But the nosedive and then the consolidation is more or less the same. It's all going according to the plan. That's all that I really have to say about this. It's just all going according to the plan. That's great. I did retweet some people. This was I've been talking about it this morning. Access Alive. More Ivan on tech. There was a Martini guy I retweeted. Yeah, right here. This guy's one of the biggest people in crypto. 510,000. Everybody wrote off HEX. I made a $10,000 bet that it would pump again. I was right. So yeah, all these people felt like they missed out on HEX the last bull market. They don't want to miss out on it this time. The higher it goes, the more significant it's going to get in their portfolio, the more they're going to talk about it, the more pressure on centralized exchanges to list it. Really good, really good. Things are looking really good. Okay, guys, don't quit your day job, but really exciting stuff. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, now we could take a look at what you guys are saying. We'll love to hear it. Laurent B says, why do you want to wait till Friday to buy HEX? Because I want a dollar cost average, you know? So I don't want to jump the gun. If you keep jumping the gun and buying early, first of all, you're probably buying during a pump, right? You're probably not buying because that's really the catalyst for FOMOing, for putting in a lot of money. It's usually not happening when things are dumping. And also, you see how much money you have, how much you could allocate in crypto. If you want to spread it out, you don't want to run out of dry powder too early. Everybody that really bought dips mostly were probably buying it at the inopportune time. If you like, for example, well, now the risk is more to the upside, but if you bought the dips from 50 cents, you're probably out of dry powder at like 10 cents, 5 cents, forget about it. So you didn't get to buy at 3, you didn't get to buy at 2, you didn't get to buy at 1, you didn't get to buy at half a penny. So that's why I'm a very big proponent of dollar cost averaging. Can never lose like that. If you're in a good asset, you can never lose dollar cost averaging. So part of dollar cost averaging is that when the price is up a lot, you wait. And even when the price is down, you wait. It's gotten me a lot of good buys that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten. Armando Corral, linear DCA or dynamic DCAing? I think linear, as said previously. You could also, even that is not really so black and white, meaning you have a certain amount of money that you have set aside for buying crypto based on your cash in your bank account, but also your income, meaning certain amount of your paycheck you could set aside for allocating to crypto. So within that money, you can take 10% of it and say, I'm going to use this to buy dips, and the other 90%, I'm just going to strict DCAing. Do that too. That's a higher risk. The more you want to time it, the more you want to buy dips. That's the higher your risk is going to be, and the higher your potential upside. But come on, this is crypto. You get like 100x returns. There's no need to try and get too aggressive. What's up, Cookie de Chocolato? Armando Corral, what's up? Hex, oh, you're asking what Richard Hart is referring to? It's different. I haven't been so read up on that, but what it seems like, it's different court cases relating to crypto, right? So there's an IRS one and there's an SEC one. Not sure the specifics of it, but the point is that obviously there's a SEC lawsuit ongoing for HEX and stuff like that. So the more people advocate, the more people send statements that are considered, the more likely it is that these get positive rulings, and that would set favorable precedent for the Richard Hart lawsuit. If, let's say, Ripple wins, that's good precedent. If the IRA, I don't know exactly, if that gets a favorable ruling for crypto, that's good precedent. So the more good precedent there is, the better the footing Richard Hart's on. And HEX, Pulse Chain, and PulseX, because those are getting sued, even though it's code and it's immutable and it's decent. It's not a company, whatever. Somehow it's getting sued, which doesn't really make sense, but interesting stuff going on, to say the least. Jake is rich. Congratulations, Jake. Bitcoin shot up. Yeah, Bitcoin's at like 34,000 right now. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, look at this. Let's go to the daily. Whoops. It all happens so fast. That's why you got a DCA. Yeah, look at Bitcoin right now. It's at 34,000 already. It was in the 20s just a few weeks ago. Just a few days ago. What am I saying? It's in the 20s just a few days ago. 34,000. That's why things happen very fast. You can't time the market. You got to just buy and hold. DCA and hold. In my opinion, not financial advice. But that's incredible. It's been very reminiscent of the bull market. Metastink says, I'm out of dry powder. Yeah. Hey, get to work. Start working overtime, okay? That's what you got to do. If it's going to cost more on Friday, what's the advantage? Well, we don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily going to cost more or less, but you don't know. So you got to just stick to the schedule. Goes up. It's important to remember, like, yeah, people don't want to buy as much now because the price is ripped, but it's still only a penny, you know? Penny looked pretty good even a few months ago, you know? Chris A says, what's going into Bitcoin now is going to go into PX later. Absolutely. Metastink says, what a change in everybody's attitude. What a change in everyone's attitude due to the pump. Yeah. Same way the price changes fast, the sentiment changes fast. True. Oh, Metastink will work for me. Can't pay you, bro. My money is going into HEX. Just some good stuff. Yeah, let's just look back at the HEX price. 1.7. Very nice. This is a nice parabola. Just gets bigger and bigger. It's really nice. Let's take a look at like the big picture. There's like no TA even to be done. It's just up and to the right. Yeah. This is great. Waters above was complaining there's no support. Looks like we have support now. Support has been established. You can't, when there's no support, you have to look at online engagement. You have to look at the community. That's the support. If there's no community anymore, the thing's probably gone. But that was like the biggest indicator that we're not just going to zero. Just online presence. You know, there are people online looking to invest in crypto. They're going to invest in things that they see. If the community's out there and they see there's a strong community, they'll invest in HEX. As we're seeing with the changes in current holders, with like 50 new wallets like a day. It's a 50 net increase. It's like more than 50. Could be like in the hundreds. You know, this is really cool. And then as the price goes up, as it becomes more accessible, it goes into the hundreds and then maybe thousands. Metcalfe's law, right? That's what Sami talks about. Metcalfe's law. Really good. Really good. This is really good. We're happy. Oh, the future went from thinking you're going to flip burgers every day for indefinitely. It went from flipping burgers every day indefinitely to maybe you're going to be in a nice house with a nice Lambo and a nice looking wife and children, or however you guys want to, whatever. But yeah, no, it's funny how that works. But yeah, it's important not to get too excited, not to FOMO in. And I maintain, like, we're not getting euphoric. Honestly, 5-cent HEX, that would be pretty euphoric. It's not euphoric for new people, but for everyone that's been accumulating, like even like 5 cents, that feels good. That's like I have some money. It's underrated. Like the price doesn't have to go to 50 cents to be feeling really good, you know? That's when That's when people start. That's when the Richard Hart testimonials come back, and people are crying, and Richard Hart is God again. That's what like 50 cents is. Maybe it has to be $1 now, but like you don't have to think of things in terms of that. Like 5 cents is really, really good. 5 cents with all-time highs on the horizon and Bitcoin doing very well. That's really good. 2 cents is really good. Okay, I feel really good. But yeah, don't quit your day job yet. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Metastang is going to flip the burgers. Metastang, he's a hard worker. Euphoria giving me anxiety flashbacks. Richard Hart is going to Hulk smash the SEC, and people are feeling that future. We'll be at 10 cents before we know it after that. Yeah. David Weinberg. He's a patron. Big shout out to David Weinberg. $1.75. PLS 7.5. Need to get back to sack rate. This is like really what people have been saying with how L1s launch and there's a massive dump and then it consolidates and then it goes crazy. I mean, Pulse Chain has really been living up to that. Let me tell you guys, Pulse Chain has been living up to that. That much I can say. So far, with no expectation of profit from the work of others. Nothing's guaranteed, okay? Brizology's here. The 2-year price target I have would blow your people's minds. I don't want to give away too much alpha. I don't want to jinx it. Well, wow. Okay, so don't. What are we looking at? I think we're looking in the dollars. Brizology, you want to come on? I'll send you an invite in case you want to hop on. In case. Can PLS get to 5 cents in the bull run? Yeah, it can. Anything could happen. It's a 5,000x from SAC. These things could happen. Surprising things happen, but would I count on it? Not necessarily. But it did happen with HEX. It did happen with HEX, okay? Average mind can't process the future. Yeah, it's important to remember really like what's possible, like what happens in bull markets. Like crazy things happen. Things that were unimaginable happen. Also terrible things happen, by the way. Like the price goes from 52 cents to under a penny, okay? Okay, Brizology is going to come on. Very exciting, very exciting. But you know, right now we don't have to worry about the crazy things. Like in my opinion, I think we've gotten all the crazy things out of our system. People were talking about criminal charges being dropped against Richard, and that hasn't happened. Okay, so like the longer the longer it doesn't happen, the more likely it's not going to happen. No news is good news. So that's really good. That would be like the only like potential very bad thing, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay. And it's going to be very hard to drop criminal charges if the price is up significantly. Like, part of what gives legitimacy to the SEC lawsuit is that everyone's wrecked. Okay. But if the price is at like 10 cents, do they really want to go after it? I don't think so. Or else they better act. No, I'm not giving them any ideas. But that also brings a lot of attention to it, a lot of outrage marketing. We're sort of in the second stage of outrage marketing. The first one was the Gucci and the watches and the twerking. And now this is legal outrage marketing. So when the SEC sues someone, it's on their Twitter page and it's covered by every major news network. So that's good. This is sort of also outrage marketing in its own right. And it's been very successful so far. So interesting way to think about it. Oh, people are talking about institutional involvement. Chris A is saying Larry Fink's looking for yield. Yeah, that would be nice. Sounds crazy, but Bitcoin getting the treatment that it's getting from traditional finance sounded absolutely absurd, and it happened. So don't limit your beliefs. Don't have limiting beliefs. That was who said that? This guy Marcel Klein, I think, is where I heard it from. Like, limiting beliefs in what's possible. Crazy things can happen, especially when you have organic development, when it's completely organic, and stuff like that. So I think it's very, very possible. But let's get Brazology is here. Hey, how's it going, man?
What up, fam? How's it going?
Doing well, man. It's been a while.
How are you? Nice haircut, buddy. You looking sharp.
Yeah, you could call me Aaron. It's
Aaron. How you doing, buddy? How's it going?
Going well, man.
I just saw you live. I hopped in the chat. I have no idea what you're talking about. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about what everyone's talking about.
Massive gains, mad gains.
Give you a little hint.
All right. Hex die. Look at that big green dildo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, did anyone ever doubt it? Come on, guys. You'd have to be a real noob if you ever doubted Hex.
I didn't doubt it. People have, though.
Yep.
Unfortunately. For them.
So, let me get to the comment. Let's see. Sell me the caddy, Briz. Metastang. Come buy it, buddy. Please come buy it.
Oh yeah, how did that end up working out? You ended up selling? You got some more Hex?
Still driving it.
Oh.
I still got it.
Could have had a lot more caddies.
I know. Yeah, I know. Here's that Cadillac is probably one of the biggest financial mistakes of my life. And I'll tell you why. Because as a lot of people know, I got into Bitcoin in 2013. I saw the major bull run, right? And then 2014, it came crashing down. And from 2014 to 2017, it was just like a real crab market. just complete sideways action. And I bought that Cadillac in 2016, 1 year before the bull market. I was
Oh
getting
my
so frustrated. Bitcoin at the time
god.
was $600 when I bought that Cadillac. I'm like, dude, I
Damn.
am so tired of Bitcoin not going up, not doing anything for the last 3 years. In 2016, I ended up selling a business of mine, and I used some of that money to buy the Cadillac. And because I was just like, you know what, I want something nice, I want something cool, I want something to show for my hard work. And Bitcoin's not doing nothing, so I'm gonna buy the Cadillac. And then the next year, Bitcoin skyrocketed. I'm like, damn it.
And
Do you
then
know
you
how
didn't.
many? Sorry, go ahead.
No, and then you didn't sell it at the bottom of Hex to
No,
buy
I
it.
know. I know.
So
Well, I've been just kind of like holding on to it in my garage. It's almost like an investment vehicle.
it's a little bit of
Pardon the
an
pun.
indicator. It's a market indicator.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's my little thing. But Stefan, thank you so much on the glorious mustache.
I like the stash.
What in the hell is that, Tash? So yeah, so what's going on, guys?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty nice to see this. What do you think is in store over the next couple months?
Um, I think we're probably gonna have a nice pumpage throughout the rest of this year. And then in
Okay.
January, the markets are going to start cooling down, and we're going to start going into a sideways and probably downward trend uh, until probably the second quarter of next year of 2024. And then we'll start seeing it trend back up, you know, just like how we currently are,
So
in
what's
my opinion.
so what's the hex price at the top of this rally at, until the end of 2023?
Oh, I got no idea. I was thinking 2024 we could probably see a 60 to $80,000 Bitcoin. Now,
Yeah.
how does that translate in the Hex and the Pulse Chain coins? I don't quite know, but we will be a lot. If I'm telling you guys, if Bitcoin goes to 60 to 80,000, we're going to be sitting very pretty on all of our RH coins. Because, you know, RH coins don't sit around while the rest of the market pumps. They just don't. And a lot of people don't quite realize that, in my opinion. And so they look for other investment opportunities, and maybe they go chasing meme coins. You got to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. And you know what? It's just like Richard said, 50 weeks to shake out the loser non believers.
Yeah, it seems like it's all like fulfilling itself like a prophecy. How people were saying Coffee actually nailed it when he said that there would be a dump. There, like everyone was saying, you wouldn't get PLS at sack rate, and he sort of said, you look at other L1s and they normally have a sell off, and then there was supposed to be the 3 month consolidation or whatever, and that's what happened, and now the price is going up like crazy. So
Yeah,
it's the overall theme of like what's been playing out is just trust the plan.
pretty much. You got to have faith. Gotta have faith. Uh. So, yeah, just like when Hex launched, It launched at whatever it launched at, and then it started like dipping and going sideways, and everyone was making fun of us. And it turned out the best day to buy was like 30 days after launch. And with Pulse Chain, the best time to buy was 3 to 4 months after launch. And it's possible we never see the lows ever again. And we're just going to see that right there, that August till October, that was our opportunity to grab that 10,000x low. Like that's where you're going to get your 10,000x from, not from sacrifice rate, but from just the depths of the bear market.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it looks like you're buying high, and maybe you'll get a retrace if you FOMO in now. And I obviously don't recommend FOMOing. I like DCAing, but it's still 1.7. I remember when pre Pulse Chain launch, like Maddie's like, I bought Hex at 1.7. That was like a crazy catch. Like people are forgetting it's still like down like 97%. It's still very cheap relative to where we think it's going to go. But you're absolutely right about like this being like the 10,000x area. But like looking at how healthy is this like consolidation? Like this is like textbook consolidation, daily candles, just up and down, and then there's sort of like a breakout. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not much of a chart reader.
You're not an astrologist.
I'm not a horoscope for men.
Horoscope for men.
but I mean, quite frankly, like I said, I had faith. I kind of knew how these markets kind of play themselves out. I know Richard is literally a billionaire that started the currency, and those are probably the types of people you should be behind.
Yeah.
Not broke people who launch a meme coin because they want to get rich too. Because I want to be rich just like a founder. I don't want to be a hodler. I want to be a founder.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's good for the founders, not good for the hodlers. But in order to be rich, these founders have to realize profits. That's requiring selling.
Exactly. So my best piece of advice is watch Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the market leaders, and what they do, the rest of the market follows. Okay. So, don't let people peddle, bullcrap theories based off emotion, like for example, closer to the door theories. That's like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
What is that?
Well, people are like, well, because you have your money in the bank, and then like the first place you go to get into crypto is probably somewhere like Coinbase, and because Coinbase doesn't list Hex, you're more likely to buy whatever Coinbase is listing over something that you're interested in. And in my opinion, it's like people that are going into crypto are especially if they're going into DeFi, they're being led probably by someone else by the hand. And so they're going to buy whatever they're kind of being told to buy, unless they're just kind of like going into it by themselves, like Freaking Franklin. But so yeah, people are just gonna buy what they want to buy, and it doesn't matter if something is closer to the door. It's
Well,
just they're
no, I was talking about this earlier. Centralized exchange listings are not what they used to be.
they really aren't.
They really aren't. I mean, look at all the coins that are on centralized exchanges. They don't pump as much, like for example, as more fringe exchanges and then decentralized exchanges. Like everything on Coinbase um, didn't pump as much as Pepe or Shib or Hex. Those were the best performers.
Nothing on Coinbase ever pumps. Nothing new on Coinbase pumps because it's all previously or already bought by VCs, and they put it on Coinbase to use everyone on Coinbase as exit liquidity.
Oh yeah, buy the
You
rumor,
know,
sell the news.
bro, I remember I got an alert on my phone from Coinbase, and it just said like 4 minutes ago we listed this new asset called, I think, Rose. I think that was what it was called. I'm like, Rose. I'm like, man, I never even heard of it. It just got listed 3 minutes ago, and I put like $150 on it. I'm like, come on, right?
Yeah,
And it just went nothing but down. I'm like, dude, this got listed a few minutes ago. Who the freak is selling on me?
yeah.
You know?
And everything on Coinbase, like all the big performers, like there was a time before they were listed on Coinbase, and that's where like the most returns were to be made, right? Like that was what Richard Hart talks about. The best time to get in is before the exchange listings.
Yeah.
So by the time so even if it's not like VCs, like the people that are getting in on Hex now, I mean, if they have big returns and they're illiquid, probably Coinbase listing is what is going to, prompt them to take profits. Like that would be a little bit worrisome.
Before late 2019, there were no like decentralized exchanges. And if there were, they were sketchy as hell and no one used them. The only thing there were centralized exchanges. That's why when Hex launched, everyone's like, oh, what exchanges are going to be listing our coins? I forget that one exchange, bit something. And everyone was kind
It's
of
like
like,
every exchange is bit something.
yeah. And everyone was like, hey, this thing's kind of sketchy, but at least it has Hex on it. And yeah, Ether Delta.
Are you talking about Hotbit?
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, I used that to buy Hex and it actually I think shut down or it had a hack, I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, with the people that run those like shady little exchanges, they got
Yeah.
bills to pay. I never could understand why exchanges like had to ruin users or like dump or even just like rug pull or close down the exchange. It just felt like a free money printer. It's like, hey, here's a coin, you pay a fee to buy and sell it, and we take that fee. It's just like free money printer.
Oh yeah.
But apparently, here's my best guess on why these exchanges never really work out is that this is pretty much how many people are in crypto. Like no one. And so there's no volume. They don't- that I apparently I don't think they make any real money, and then they have to like just shut down. Quite frankly, I don't even know how Gemini Exchange is still around. I mean, do you know anybody that uses Gemini Exchange?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody
They,
uses that.
no marketing really. No one ever talks about them, but apparently, like they're still thriving. I think I think Gemini is a government operation. That's my conspiracy theory. I think those guys are being I think those guys are like FT are like they're kind of like FTX where they're like manipulated by the government officials like, hey, you guys got to do a little bit of our money laundering. That's probably exactly what they are. They're probably money laundering for the politicians.
It's like
And
that
so,
car shop that Walter White bought.
yeah, the car wash, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everything besides RH coins is a psyop. It's so true.
Well,
Uh,
it's not a site. It's just like you have a product and you have a team and people. The team is probably working people. They're not rich people and they want to get rich, so they give themselves a free a pre-allocation and they just sort of dump on your head and they don't really care. Like maybe it goes up, maybe it doesn't, but it's not really something that they really care about. That's like such a massive edge for, Hex, that it's organic. There is none of that. Everybody that bought in paid for it. Everybody with exposure paid for it.
exactly. One of the biggest strengths of Hex is that it's not really on any centralized exchanges.
And centralized exchange listings are upside. Like it's like now from there, it's like it could only get listed. It's not like XRP, which was on them and then got delisted. There is none of that. So like, it's only up from here. And
Exactly.
despite no listings, it still did better than every other crypto that got listed. Which is why it's like anybody that's like in all the comment sections of like these exchanges, Twitters, like saying like list this coin, list that coin, like they don't get it. They just don't get it anymore. Like they're behind the times, I think.
Yeah. XRP, that's another one that I could never understand. Like they have a centralized team that's there to help like promote it and sell it and make it great.
Sell it. Just sell it.
And they just dump it. Like it's like never gone up. Like I mean, it's never really done any really crazy numbers other than the 2017 bull run where it went from like 20 cents to $3 and then it came back down and just never went back up. Like why doesn't Ripple Labs, why don't they buy back their coins, making it more scarce, driving up the value, and then that would drive more people into XRP?
Because why would they? What they're trying to so the price could go up? They already have free money. Like why would they care if it goes up or not?
But they own the majority of it. They would have even more free money to dump on
No,
people.
but then they wouldn't have money to pay for the company. There's a
For
lot of expenses.
parties and business offices
Yeah, man.
and
XRP is
payroll
like a money
and
printer
HR. Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, for them. So yeah. So, Richard Hart is exactly like the kind of coin founder that, you expect everyone. Like I remember Richard saying like the point of a CEO is to drive value into the stock for the holders. That really stuck with me when Richard said that because it led me to believe that Richard truly understands, kind of his role with Hex is that even though he's not I don't know, but his role is to drive value into Hex for the shareholders,
With no
and
expectation of profit from the
but
shareholders.
with no expectations. But like, you know what I mean?
Whoa. I don't know what you mean.
So I
And
remember another time he was like, "Guys, he's like, I cannot promise you anything because it's not legal. I got to do this the legal way." I remember him saying very specifically, he said something along the lines of, if I could tell you guys all the things that like I know, it would be so freaking bullish and I could sell this coin so much harder if I could just make you guys promises and just tell you like the plans, but I can't.
no, I guess
And that
that's
was
more
before 56 cents. That
that's
was
more for me to accumulate.
Exactly. But unfortunately, a lot of people just don't believe, or they haven't been around long enough to really understand. They're not like me, who has listened to Richard Hart speak for over 1,000 hours on live YouTube. Like, I'm pretty sure I've listened to Richard speak for over 1,000 hours. I mean, it's easy because he used to do 4 to 8 hour live streams.
He's very easy to listen to. I listen to all of them, not all of them, but a very very big chunk of them, especially the most recent. And it was like, honestly, I'd pay like $10,000 for that, for like the value that I got out of his streams. It's worth more.
Yeah. And then there's another extreme valuable lesson to be learned just by watching these new coins get launched. Like
Yes.
when I first saw Hex get launched, I didn't know anything about cryptos really. I didn't really understand, like, what's happening, to where they drive their values and everything from. But watching Hex, I learned so much about how a crypto launches and where it gets its value from, and like liquidity pools and this and that. And now watching him launch this layer one, it's also very enlightening on just everything. And then watching all these meme coin launches, and you're just kind of like sitting back and you're just kind of seeing how they grow and then oftentimes just like fizzle out. And one of the things that I kind of uh use as a measuring tool on cryptos, like, is this a good crypto to invest in, is how long is the founder going to be around promoting it, really. Satoshi, he was gone before I ever got into crypto. But Bitcoin is a different animal. I think Bitcoin was created by the government, but like Vitalik or Vitalik, whatever his name is, uh he's constantly around. He didn't really jump ship. um who was another one? Brad Garlinghouse of XRP, but
He's
again,
dumping though.
but he got a bunch of people to
Well,
buy into it, so he
he's
could
actually
dump it.
he's actually not the founder. I think Schwartz is the founder.
That's right.
I think he's just the
They were
CEO.
gifted to him, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's probably making a couple mil a year also, just from his salary, which is paid for by the XRP community. Yeah.
So I have a hard time getting behind a lot of brand new cryptos, just because like they just seem so flash in the pan. I'm like, man, is this guy gonna be around in 2 to 3 years promoting his crypto? Hey guys, I launched this crypto. It's like I feel like a lot of people, they're just in it for like 6 months to a year maybe, and then they're just like, all right, this is so tiresome. Because it's tiresome, especially in a bear market, promoting something that's going down.
Yeah, and especially when you're rich already because you had an ICO or you had a pre-allocation. Like, what's in it for you anymore? I mean,
And then all these users are just talking trash on you, just like, you know, just rubbing your brain into the dirt. And you're just like, man, what is this even worth it? Like, quite frankly, like, I am proud of Richard Hart for not quitting, because of how much hate he gets from not only his own fucking user base, but just the fucking, like, the overall cryptos market in general. Like, people are so disrespectful. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get it. I get it at first when people were like, "Hey, don't launch Bitcoin Hex. It's an attack on Bitcoin." And yeah, it kind of was. but Richard had good intentions, and Hex was a unique coin that was doing something that I don't think any other coin was really doing back then.
No,
I mean, I think there was some staking, but not like Hex.
no, yeah, you're right.
So
And the longer you're in crypto is what I'm learning, and I'm sure you learned, is the more you realize how much pretty much every crypto sucks. When you first get in and you hear about a new project launching, you think that, Bitcoin, the people that got in early on Bitcoin, they did very well. So people that get in early on any crypto are going to do well. It's about getting in early, and
yeah,
then you start to realize that most of them are just flops, or scams, or rug pulls. And we sort of had our own ICO, and it's not conclusive. Maybe some of these projects building on Pulse Chain are going to pick up whatever, but there've been a lot of nosedives. That's a fact. I mean,
I
that is
used
what
to
it is.
I used to be a big fan of Charlie Lee, Litecoin. I got into that one pretty early too, or I got into it in 2014 after it crashed. After it did its 80 to 90% crash, I got into Litecoin and made some good money off of that. And I used to be a big fan of Charlie Lee. I'm like, he got into Coinbase and he got Litecoin listed on Coinbase. You got Litecoin, the little tiny logo on the UFC mat. I
Hmm.
was like, all right. Charlie Lee, like, he seemed humble, seemed like a nice guy. He was doing live streams. I remember once I made a Excel spreadsheet to track like my Bitcoin and Litecoin stuff, but I needed a code that would pull the price of Litecoin and put it into my Excel spreadsheet so I can have a real time update of how much my stuff was worth. And so I went on to Reddit. I'm like, hey, can someone help me out with this code? And do you know who provided me that code?
Was it Charlie Lee?
Yeah. I was like,
Whoa.
dude, greatest founder ever. Right? I'm like, this guy wrote some code personally for me. Because I asked about it on Reddit. I'm like, dude, how awesome is that? And then he freaking rug pulled so freaking hard on everyone. And then he just kind of like left. And that put a bad taste in my mouth. But then I really wrote him off when he started talking trash on Richard and Hex.
Wait, but with Charlie Lee, didn't he tweet like HODL while he was dumping? Like it was confirmed on chain that like when he made that tweet,
Probably.
he was
He had
he
a
was
shirt.
exiting.
He had a blue shirt that said "Hodl."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's famous, and that is really sort of a representative of like pretty much every crypto.
Yeah, So again,
It's
that's
like
what I'm really proud of Richard for sticking around.
everything that you hear of is the exception. All the cryptos that you hear of, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, BNB, and now Hex like these are the exceptions.
These are the diamonds and the coal, I guess.
Yeah,
There's a lot of freaking coal out there, guys. There's a lot of rocks. There's a lot of solid geodes.
100%.
But I'm telling you guys, we're in the right system, and we're in the right space. We're in the right layer one, and call me an idiot, call me a blind fool, but I got my chips with Richard Hart,
Yeah,
and
me too.
you know what, man, I am so appreciative of what he has done. I mean, he's helping me out a lot.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to him helping me out with no expectations, and for what it's going to deliver in the future.
Yeah, and you know what? And you're gonna win because You're sticking by your guns. You're not letting peer pressure, warp your mind. And I like that about you. I think you're really great too. That's
Thanks.
why I'm here on your show, because I think you're one of the good ones, even though people give you a lot of shit.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
they're just like they don't get it. You're right.
They
Now
just don't get it.
they don't get
They
it.
don't get it.
I actually I came up with this thought experiment the other day uh regarding multiple hexes on multiple chains. Let's leave it to that. And I want to ask people, hey, if instead of Richard launching Hex first, what if Richard had launched Pulse Chain first, and then he came up with the idea of Hex? Do you guys think Richard would have launched Hex on Ethereum if he had already invented the Pulse Chain?
What do you guys think in the comments? And thank you, Hex Fetty.
People in the comments, let me know. Do you think if Richard invented Pulse Chain first and then Hex, do you think he would have launched it also on Ethereum? I don't personally, I don't think so. Exactly. Nope. No. What the F kind of question is that? No, exactly. That's why he didn't launch Hex on Matic and Arbitrum, and he didn't pull a Jack 11 and launch it on every single chain
Yeah,
he
yeah.
could.
And then get a pre-allocation and then launch another project and then, whatever.
Yeah,
Been some stuff
exactly.
going around, but it's absolutely true. And everything that like the people that were big believers in EHEX, like everything that they've said has not come to fruition. It's like people said that there would be some OA forced parity. I was open to it. It didn't happen.
It kind of happened in the very beginning.
Yeah, but it was, and people said the farms were established to make parity. The farms were pulled. People said that Richard was going to buy it up. He's not like, and then Richard said, "Hey, let the market decide." It looks like the market decided. It's like none of those speculations came to fruition, and the ratios were reflective of that. You know, it went as high as 3-1. And then for like a brief moment in time when like it closes slightly, it's still very far. I mean, it's still lopsided by even at like the peak, like there was a 30% premium. Like people are like, "Hey, look, I was right." It's like, no, it's like no. And the risk reward in investing in Hex on Ethereum is far worse in comparison to Hex on Pulse Chain. It's a more sure bet. It's where the people are going. It's where it's faster, it's cheaper, it's stakeable. It doesn't make any sense to be so staunch on EHEX, but whatever is what it is.
The only sense that it makes is that when Pulse Chain launched, you had your EHEX, and now you have your PHEX, and now everyone was thinking, hey, Pulse Chain might do a 10x from here, right? Like right out of the gates. So I can't trade my EHEX for Pulse Chain yet, but I can trade my PHEX. So let's trade my PHEX for Pulse Chain. And now they have a ton of Pulse Chain, probably a ton of PLSX, no PHEX, but all of their EHEX. And now they don't want to see that EHEX bag go away.
Yeah, it could
And
be.
so,
I think it could be that. I think it's like I think a lot of people just don't want to. They feel like they're devaluing their EX bags if they say that Pulse Chain Hex is better. They don't want to FUD their bags. I think a lot of people are just misguided. Also, like a lot of people are just making an honest mistake. It's just
here's a theory.
The overall thing is it's just wrong in my opinion.
Here's another theory I came up with the other night, is that Richard is going to have to pump the price of EHEX higher than PHEX just to get all the retards to buy the cheaper coin. He's gonna bring the price of EHEX like maybe 10% higher than than the PHEX side, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy the cheap hex,
Yeah,
the PHEX, yeah." And then they're all gonna dance on our graves. They'll see, I told you that EHEX was gonna go back up to parity and back PHEX, and that's why I'm buying
oh
PHEX
man.
now.
Yeah. That would be, hopefully he doesn't do that. Just for
I kind of hope he does.
security and for my reputation. He could just buy the PHEX, okay? That's the thing. Like people want to buy things that go up hard and fast. So like people say like people are gonna want to buy EHEX because it's cheaper. It's like no, people like to buy the more expensive thing. That's why it's more expensive. The market has it at a higher price because it could people could charge more for it. It's like anything. It's like people pay more for the more expensive steak, and people want to buy the more expensive. People want the more expensive thing. People want the more expensive crypto. That's why the the most volume is going into Bitcoin because it's the most expensive. Like more people are buying Bitcoin now than they did when it was cheap.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
so if EHEX underperforms, then it'll just get written off.
I'm telling you, when Bitcoin goes back up to like 60, 70,000, and everyone is just, cheering about the BlackRock ETF, spot ETF, yeah. It's gonna bring in so many normies.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like, I
what.
don't want to miss this again. And I think that's gonna be a really great opportunity to bring in a lot of new money, new investors into like the Pulse chain. Because all of our friends are gonna be like, hey guys, what do I need to buy to like be in this game? And it's going to be up to us to lead them to the cryptos that we feel are you know the safest with the best returns. And that's going to be the RH coins, in my opinion. Another thing too is like you look at some of these meme coins and they're like, oh, we just went up 4 or 5x. We're crushing it. We're killing it. Everyone else is wrecked. But the thing is, here's the thing, is that most people can only put in like $25, $50 into these like micro caps without pushing the price against themselves. And so when it does like a 4x, it's like, oh, congratulations. Your $25 purchase is now worth $125. Like you can't even pay rent with that. Versus something like Pulse Chain and Hex, people are able to put in $100,000 in a go. People are able to buy $10,000 at a time. And you can't do that with these tiny little meme coins. And Johnny Chaos completely disappeared. And
I
then the
want to
only
make
time he shows up is to come dancing on graves. And when people start dancing on either graves or coffins, that's usually the end of whatever thing they're trying to like shill. And like I said, the EHEX went to like 1-1. Johnny starts dancing on graves, and now it's like 1.7-1.
Yeah, it was even the funny thing is even like at its peak, it was still like a 30% discount.
Yeah.
So like it's like, and yeah, I don't want to make it too much about him, but I
Yeah,
I did
won't
I
get into
did
him no more.
when it happened, I did come out and stream after a little bit of brief streaming absence because it's important to stick by your decision if you want to be a successful investor. And like obviously the ratios did briefly close, but I had my reasons and you have to stick by it. If I would have switched, then I would have been wrecked now, like that's the thing. And you mentioned the meme coins. The meme coins, everybody that was taunting people holding Hex and Pulse Chain saying you guys have been in no gains for so long. You're all wrecked, but we're in teddy bear, we're in Atropa, PDI, whatever it is. Anybody that sold off their HEX then for meme coins is now wrecked. And anybody that continued to accumulate, continued to stick to their strategy is up significantly. Like, that's what it means. Like, you have to stick to your guns. You can't just change as the market changes. You have to stick through thick and thin, and you obviously have to do the right thing.
Imagine if Michael Burry didn't stick to his guns.
It's true.
The guy from The Big Short. Imagine if he got flooded out of his position, peer pressured. No, you should buy Apple stock. Right?
There'd be no movie.
There'd be no movie. And that was a great movie. That's my Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Big Short is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. It's true. All legendary investors, there has to be some sort of stubbornness. And you have to have your thesis based on the information that is out there. But when things go when things go down, when things don't go in your favor, you have to be able to stick by your bets, your strategy. And as long as it's a good strategy, it'll pan out well in the long run. It's really what it is.
Can we talk about Chris A's comment about liquidity bonding?
Yeah.
So, Chris, what do you mean it's been overestimated? I think it's pretty darn clear that when Bitcoin shot up to 35,000, that's why the rest of the market is like pumping up pretty hardcore. We have a lot of actual Bitcoin bonded with the Pulse chain ecosystem from Bitcoins being bridged over from Ethereum into Pulse chain, and not just a copied one. They were actually bridged over as well.
No, but let me just say he is right to an extent, though, because what he means by overrated is a lot of people said that EHEX is going to do just as well because it's bonded in liquidity pairs. Like, a lot of people sort of have this mindset that you can make any coin and just bond it, and it's automatically going to go up. Like, bond it to Pulse, bond to ETH, it's automatically going to moon. And that's a big mistake because, one, if it doesn't have a strong community, the people that are holding the coin will dump it against will dump it for the Ethereum or for the Pulse, and that drives the price down against the US dollar. But also there's an arbitrage opportunity once they develop pools against USDC, and when people take advantage of that. So that was the big misconception when it came to liquidity bonding was the arbitrage opportunity that's present. The reason why Hart's Law was so prevalent in the beginning was because there were no USDC pools. Everything was just strictly bonded to Ethereum.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
It still has an impact, but it's not like I call them liquidity bonding purists. Like, people would just say like, oh yeah, this coin's going to do well because it's bonded, or you're gonna kill Hex if EHEX dies, because it's like those things aren't true.
Yeah, I think that's a little crazy. But look at Ink though.
Oh yeah,
there's no reason why Ink really should be going on. I mean, who's really buying it besides me?
Are you the whale?
Maybe no.
$1.44. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? It was at 95 cents.
Every time I mention Ink, I pick at you.
Oh, I want everyone to think of me whenever Ink is mentioned.
No, I'm like, yeah, I'm not an Ink fan, but Brazology's pretty he's pretty happy.
In all honesty, Ink is it's not that great of a coin.
What? Whoa.
Well, I'm just saying, like, tokenomics. Like, if you just looked at it on paper, It's not that great of a coin where it just has constant forever inflation. Yeah, it does get halved, but it's just forever inflation. There's no reason for people to buy it when they can just farm it for free. So it should just be a sell only coin. But because of the bonding, the liquidity bonding, it's going to move up and down with the rest of the coins. And, uh, and I think also because it's pretty darn scarce. There's only 14 million of them. Uh, I feel like there's something there. I think it's gonna do well. Just I feel like all these coins, the Pulse X, Ink, and Hex, I kind of feel like they're almost all just using the same bucket of liquidity, and it's like if you sell the crap out of one of them, you're going to drag the price of all of them down. And if you pour a bunch of money into one of them, you're going to bring up the value of all of them. So it's kind of like Richard has tied all these coins together, with a rope and cinder block, and either they're all going to sink or maybe the cinder block will float. I don't know.
So I think Ink is probably gonna do something in the bull market. The thing is, I look at it risk reward, and it's like I could be buying Pulse or I could be buying Ink, and like it's like I'd go with Pulse, but like Ink could do
No,
something.
100%, 100%. I think I'm a little bit more comfortable going harder into Ink just because I feel like I've got my bags set pretty good with the other 3 coins,
Yeah.
or the other 4 coins really. So and Ink is like the one that I don't have yet. I'm like, oh, that's the last Richard Hart Pokemon.
Yeah.
Maybe a cinder block was the wrong analogy
Yeah. Rocket
for
ship.
something that could go up and down.
Yeah, rocket ship reminds me of remember Pompliano with BlockFi?
Uh,
I'm a little bit hesitant to even use the rocket ship thing. It's given me some trauma.
wow.
It triggers the Pompliano BlockFi soundbite. Oh my God.
I never really got too much into Pompliano's podcast. I was listening to other people,
You
but
think he's gonna buy Hex? You think Pompliano is gonna?
no,
He'll be the
no.
last one to buy it. That much I can tell you. But
In my opinion, I think people with a lot of money, they're a lot more risk adverse to like new coins. It's just like, hey, if you have 1,000 bitcoins, this, and Bitcoin can move like $1,000 in a day.
mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, look at that. My portfolio just moved $1 million in a day, up and down $1 million. And like a lot of these guys, I feel they're like, I don't need to get gains in the next, thing. I don't need to buy the next hex or whatever. And so they just kind of stick with what they want or what they got. And so,
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean?
yeah, they don't need to go on the road not taken.
These guys, they don't need a 100x.
They don't need that. In
If they
fact,
can get a 5x, bro, that's like they
yeah,
they just bought their neighborhood.
yeah. If they would go all in on, if they would have gone all in on like any altcoin, including Hex, they could have lost all their money. Like, why go there? Like, just buy the blue chips. And a 5x is incredible. I mean, that's euphoric. That takes them from like 10 millions to 100 millions or 100 millions to billions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Francis in the chat. That is a name I haven't seen in a long time. I hope you've been well.
Hey, Francis. Oh, All right, man. Pleasure having you on, and thanks for coming on the short notice.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, pleasure, bro. You got any final words before we close this out?
Um, don't sleep on the Richard Hart ecosystem. All right, guys, I am telling you, please do not get restless and start looking elsewhere for mad gains. I'm telling you, this is the place we want to be. You know, you can verifiably see that somebody, the OA, we'll say the OA. I'm not going to say Richard, but Richard has
Whoa.
hundreds of millions of dollars in stable coins that you can see on chain. And I believe he's a billionaire in Bitcoin from things that I've seen, and I can send you the screenshot that I've saved. I mean, I literally, in fact, hold on real quick. I got to do the math real quick. Times was it 35,000? Whoo, $1.4 billion. Just like a week or two ago, it was only a little over like 1.1 billion. So, in my opinion, I think Richard probably has control of multiple billions of dollars in cryptos and stable coins. And that's the horse I'm backing my money with. And I've been doing it since 2019, and it's worked out incredibly well for me. And I don't plan on leaving this ecosystem. This is where I plan on sending my grandchildren to.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
It's not.
So,
You don't own it. It's just merely for the next generation. It's like the Patek Philippe
exactly.
ad. You know the watch the Patek Philippe.
I haven't seen the ad. What is the ad?
They say you never actually own it. You merely watch it for the next generation.
Oh, got it. It
It's
almost
like
sounds like the red.
accent.
Sorry, it almost sounds like the red pill community when they talk about women. So you don't, she's not yours. It's just your turn.
Oh my god. Okay, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn bell notification on. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Have a great rest of your day.